Good morning, it's Barbara. It's beautiful and fresh outside, and I am going out. Good morning, it's Barbara. Thank you for joining me for coffee. I confess this is my second cup of coffee, and I drank my first cup outside, and it was 54 degrees when I came out, so I put my Corian on top of my boxy that I'm wearing, so I'm double sweatered. It's sweater weather? Not quite, but maybe. So this is my Corian. Thank you again, Marianne. I am so happy that I knit my Corian, and I have worn it so many times considering I finished it after the winter. But I get chilly in my house sometimes, and yeah, I keep it by my chair. I keep it by my chair, so I was wearing it this morning. It's still cool enough. I was warmer when I was in the sun, but I'm not now. Oh, good morning. Gorgeous, gorgeous day. Not humid. It's going to be in the 70s, supposedly, but not 80s, so it's going to be nice. One of these days, Dennis is going to make me do some lawn work or yard work with him. But maybe not today. He has to go to the store, so he'll have food things to do, and I won't bring it up, and he won't bring it up. So, probably what we're going to do tomorrow. But I'll pretend I forgot. He doesn't watch my blog. So yesterday I read another book that I had read before. Cocooning. But I also did get those paints out, and I'll show you what I did. Don't get excited. It's not anything fancy. So these are the paints. It turns out these are water-based paints, not watercolors. And there is a big difference. Latex that you paint your walls with is water-based. So, you know, the range of what can be a water-based paint is quite large. These are, as it turns out, called gouache. And I think, this is a very simplistic and maybe completely inaccurate description, but they're a little bit between watercolors and acrylics. And so they are much denser in color, and some of the colors look a little chalky, so they're not nearly as transparent. But anyway, so what I did with them, which was suggested in the box, is I went through, and then this is the lid of the box, and it had this blank panel, and it said, you know, fill it in and see what you've got. And that's what I did. So I put it in the little box as dark as I could, and then I spread it with just water to see what it did in terms of transparency. So you can see the white has, you know, kind of obliterated the lines a little bit. I went over the lines on purpose because otherwise what good will that do for white? So, so anyway, these are the colors, and these how they react when they're watered down a little bit. So that's what I did. But I brought my paints out here. I sat out here, and my stuff is very close at hand. So I'm thinking I'll do it again and maybe do something a little more creative. But anyway, that's what the paints look like. So these are gouache. I have white gouache that I've used because you can sprinkle that on top of, you know, pine tree snowy pictures to make it look like it's snowing, because it will, because it's thicker, it will cover, you know, look like snow on the outside, where if you were using a literal white watercolor, it wouldn't look good. You might want to do at least a combo with the gouache. So these will be used when I really want an intense color, and but I'm going to play with them a little more. before I make a determination of how they fit in my pantheon of painting, whatever. I've been bookmarking all kinds of things on Instagram. I follow some watercolors, and a lot of them show up as, suggestions because I follow some. And I've been bookmarking a lot of little reels that are demonstrations. And I've been getting a lot of, this is a cool flower thing. So I've been getting a lot of flower making videos. So I might be doing some series of flowers, just practicing those techniques. But yeah, I'm working on some paintings. I discovered I had made tiny little things for Christy's tiny art project, and I didn't take the masking tape off of them, and I can't get the masking tape off of them now. So that's a lesson learned. You can't just leave things for months and months and months with masking tape on and think it's going to be able to come off. Luckily, those pictures were exactly the size, and so don't need a border, and I can just cut the masking tape off and it'll be fine. But just a little bit of a lesson learned. I'm like, oh, let me take this masking tape. Oh, no. So, yeah. But I'm going to scan those so I have them too. We'll see what comes of it. Probably nothing. I got the hiccups. So I watered everything on the deck yesterday, but it's time for me to water out front. Dennis did not water out front while I was away, and it didn't really rain very much, so things have died. But I really want to water my forsythia to make sure they survive to the spring, and if everything else has to be replaced, then so be it. But I do want my forsythia to do well. They definitely need water, so I want them to survive the winter, so I'll have forsythia in the spring. I mean, I did a little planning ahead of what I wanted my spring to look like. It's not going to work if my forsythia are dead. So anyway, really, really beautiful. So that's what I did yesterday. I read and I did a little experiment with my colors, and I knit some. I sat outside and I was like feeling restless outside, and I went and got my knitting, and that helped. So I worked on my cowl a little bit. So I did a few things, and I had a nice long conversation with some good friends who I hadn't talked to since I got back. They had good news. They're going to be grandparents for the first time come February, so that's exciting. That was very lovely to hear. And yeah, so yesterday was an okay day. I spent most of it outside. I was outside all day. Aura did not come out. I guess she wasn't feeling very energetic, but so we didn't spend a lot of time together because I was outside. I went in. Eventually, we were watching the Namibian water hole, and yeah, lots of rhinoceros in Namibia, and giraffes, and elephants. Apparently there's a big drought in Namibia these days. This is a man-supported little pond, water hole. Big water hole, bigger than the one we were watching. There was another one we were watching. I think it was in Namibia too. Hummingbird. You can hear it hum. Well, you can't probably, but I can hear it hum. So I'm not sure why it was being ignored for a while, but but even more fun yesterday. they were at the hummingbird was at the flowers, which feels like it's better for them, like real food as opposed to sugar water. But so that was really exciting. They like my flowers, so that's really exciting. So I have no idea what I'm going to do today. I am going to be outside because it's going to be gorgeous. And I hope that doesn't give Dennis any ideas that I should go out and weed whack or pull weeds or something like that. Oh, he'll be busy going to the store and doing food things. So I'm going to just count on him to, you know, want to do tomorrow. I do have one phone call I have to make today for my mom. And some things to read, and I still have some organizing I can do and should do. But I have all week to do that since I've scheduled the internment for next Monday. And I guess I'm going to be going to the bank next Monday on our way home. I will be getting my mom's death certificates on Monday. So I can go to the bank and inform them. And then when I get home, I will scan one and email it to Peter, my lawyer, and we will start the process of probating my mother's will. And that'll be the beginning, the real beginning. I was telling my friends last night that, you know, when I found out that my mom passed away, I was with my sister who was dying. And I just had to compartmentalize it. And I think I told you this, you know, I just like, you know, we all sat there crying. Christy and my brother John and I were all there when we found out. But then, you know, we weren't there, you know, time zones away. And called everybody, called my other brother, called my son. Christy called her brother, called Dennis. But then we kind of compartmentalized it, you know. I mean, there was nothing we could do for Mama. But my sister was still there and needing us for her last couple of days. And so we really, I don't know how the others did, but I really compartmentalized it. And I don't think I've unpacked it really yet. I've been working, you know, on my mom's stuff since I got back, but I haven't been to State College yet. And other people are working on Christie's, you know, legacy stuff. And I still haven't really unpacked my mom out of her compartment, I think. I think that'll start happening Monday when I'm there. So it's been really odd. It feels really odd to me, although, you know, what do I know? This is a situation you only find yourself in once. You know, your mom dying. I don't know how anybody would go through that more than once. But it's all happening in ways that I hadn't imagined. And I guess that's, you know, that's part of what's going on. It's like, I you know, it still feels very unreal. The whole time I was with my sister and hearing the news about my mother and everything that was going on when I was in Idaho was very surreal, as you can imagine. But now, you know, I feel like I'm working on unpacking it and figuring things out, and You know, it's easy to sort of put things, keep things compartmentalized when you're doing all kinds of practical things, you know, trying to organize this and organize that and talking to the lawyer. So I'm still working on it. On some level, you know, it'll be very real and concrete next Monday when we inter her ashes. And I may or may not go to Harmony. I might go to Harmony to see if they haven't collected any more mail. I have to go to the bank. Those things. You know, but going to Harmony and not visiting my mom, it's going to be very weird. Anyway, but I have a beautiful, lovely day and a gorgeous deck to sit on, and hummingbirds and flowers, and those are all things that are good for the soul. And I'm just working on it. Just working on it. Meanwhile, I did do some knitting. I did do some knitting yesterday. And I can see myself doing some knitting today. Because it's a little bit like sweater weather. I'm wearing 2 sweaters. Well, poncho and a sweater. I highly recommend for any of you who tend to be chilly, the Korean, Couriin, 2 words, maybe a dash, and I don't remember who made it, who designed it, but it was a gift from my friend Mary Ann, and I really appreciate it, my dear, really appreciate it. I haven't even blocked it yet. It still flips up a little bit. Unless I spill something on it and have to wash it, I don't imagine this is going to get blocked, because it hasn't left my chair side since I finished it. I wove in the ends and put it next to my chair, and that's it. It doesn't need to be blocked, clearly, because it's functioning perfectly well without block. Okay, well, meanwhile, back at the ranch, I am doing okay. I'm thinking my thoughts, I'm feeling my feels, and that's all very appropriate. I'm trying to give myself grace. I will do one thing today. Oh, there's the hummingbird again. We'll do one thing today, make that phone call, and, yeah. Just proceed. I will just proceed. Maybe do a little painting with my gouaches. See what gouache painting ends up looking like. I feel bad I'm sitting here next to the flowers because I heard the hummingbird come really close to me, so maybe he was interested in my flowers. So I will stop so he can come, because he didn't mind coming when I was sitting on the other side of the table, but I'm too close to them this way so you can see them. But on the other side of the table, I'm further away and I can see them. So I will do that. Meanwhile, please take good care of yourselves. And those of you who are on the mend, please, please work hard. I'm sending all my healthy vibes. I'm sending all my healthy vibes. Best I can. I am using some on myself. But you know what I mean. They are infinite. They are infinite, those healthy thoughts that just go into the universe. That's what I'm doing. Meanwhile, please take good care of yourselves. Please, please stay safe and stay sane.